Is this thing working? How are you over there, James, today?
I'm awesome today for a Friday.
For a Friday.
I'm loving it, man. I've been ready for Friday.
We love Fridays. Fridays are our favorite day because we just have a good time. We kick back, do a little talking.
Really random.
Really random stuff. So please enjoy the show. Y'all kick back and enjoy it with us. Welcome to the show, everyone. But before we get started on the show today, we want to state that our opinions are our own. Our assertions and everything that we say is all our opinions, period. If you agree with us, please tell your friends and share the show. Also, stomp that like button and please follow or subscribe wherever you see the name. Is this thing working? You help James and I further our reach when you share the show, and we appreciate everything you do for us.
Yeah, and also check out our website. It's in progress, but Denise is doing an awesome job with it. And here's the address. As I told you yesterday, I'm going to tell you again today. Get you a pen and paper, write this down. Because I'm telling you, if I don't read it, sometimes it'd be hard for me to get it all out. But here we go. It is www.is-this-thing-working.com. And check us out. You can see us here. We have the podcast at the top. And when you scroll down, you can share it to your favorite platform. As you scroll down, you'll also see that the last 5 Rumble videos that we have published are out there. Leave us a comment and subscribe. Also, please support our sponsors on the site. They're why we can keep this show free. And I want to make an announcement. And when we haven't been doing this is a new thing for us. And we're going to start maybe randomly, maybe every week. Not for sure yet. Going to see how it plans out, how it plays out. But this Sunday, I want to do a Sunday special edition of our podcast of Is This Thing Working? Because we hear and we have heard for 4 years, we have heard your president stand up there and holler, we need to save our democracy. MAGA is destroying our democracy. And I think, I know that a lot of people out here have a really crazy view of what they think democracy is. And I want to say this right now. And then on Sunday, I'm going to give an in-depth and very informative show on the differences in living in a democracy and living in a constitutional republic. So please join in. I want you to be there. I hope that you'll be there. And I think you'll walk away a little bit more enriched and a little bit more informed. Because at the end of the day, what do we always tell you? We want you to be informed and become engaged. And the only way it's going to be effective is you bring the information first.
There you go. I'm excited. I can't wait to hear it. So, of course, I'll probably be there. I'll help produce it. But it's going to be fun. We're excited to branch out onto new things and to teach you more and more. Because we're out to save the country and to inform you. But we're going to move on right now. And we're going to play a video of our crazy speaker.
Yeah, here we go. As if you're not any more confused, let's continue. Let's continue.
I know I called him crazy, but
obligation. So why is the border not in this package? Because, Greta, we didn't have the votes to do it. I have a handful of my Republicans, at least, who will not advance a rule to bring that to the floor to combine it with the Ukraine and Israel funding. They won't do it. And so if I don't have Republican votes, that means we have to have Democrat votes. Yeah.
A lot of misleading stuff in there. Thomas Massey brought this out. This is purposefully misleading. He never tried to combine a bill to secure the U.S. border to a bill that funds the wars in Ukraine and Israel.
Yeah. No, he never did. And we know he didn't. And we know we yesterday we played this mashup of the border, and everything that he promised to do for us on the border. And so far, not one penny to secure our border. You know, and he's not even trying. But today, some clarity for this weekend on our House here at approximately 10:30 a.m. The House will vote on the adoption of the rule. They'll walk off the floor at 11 a.m. This will be the only vote of the day. Following the votes, the House will debate a few bills. The Border Catastrophe Act.
Yeah, which is H.R. 3602.
Yes, and members are advised that additional procedural votes are possible. The vote for this, for the general an amendment debate on H.R. 8036, H.R. 8038, and H.R. 8035. And H.R. 8034 at approximately 1 to 1:30 p.m., the House will vote on passage of all four bills and one postponed suspension. So in other words, they're going to go in there and just vote on Saturday, and they're making this like this big deal and everything. We all know what's going to happen already.
Sure we do. And here's those bills, and Denise read out the bill numbers to them, and here's what they are. H.R. 8034 is the Israel Security Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2024. H.R. 8035 is the Ukraine Security Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2024. The next one is the H.R. 8036, the Indo-Pacific Security Supplemental Appropriations Act. And H.R. 8038 is the 21st Century Peace Through Strength Act.
What is that one?
Okay, and what's the most important thing about this? These four bills. Are these the four bills that he was supposed to push through for us now, or are these what they wanted from the very beginning, and that's what he done?
I'm of the opinion that they took the Senate bills and they put them all into these little separate bills to make it look like they actually did some work.
Well, here's my thing, and I guess this is my point with what Thomas Massey brought out. He said this is purposefully misleading. He never tried to combine a bill to secure the border to a bill that funds the wars. There's proof right there that he never tried to. And the reason that he said he never tried to is absurd. What did he say? We didn't put it in there because
there wasn't enough Republican votes.
It wasn't going to pass. How do you know that? I mean, do you really know that? And here's the point with that. When we elect our representatives to go up there to represent us, it's not you go up there and do whatever you please and we just have to deal with it. No, sir. We, the people, wanted a bill for border security. We wanted that put in there, and you make the determination that it's not going to pass, so we're not going to do it. No, sir. You do what the people want you to do, which is put that bill in there. I don't care if you don't think it will pass or not. I don't care if it would pass or not. The point is, that's what we wanted. Put it in there.
And the thing is, the people need to know who's voting no on these things.
Yes, exactly.
You didn't tell us. Who was the Republicans that you couldn't get to vote? Why didn't you tell us their names?
See, and that's the thing. If you're not going to tell us their names, we, as the ones who elected you, you owe us at least, like I said, the opportunity to put it in there. Announce that you're going to put it in there. Who cares if you believe it ain't going to pass? The point is, once you put it out there, now the people are aware, and the people are aware of which representatives wouldn't vote on it. Now we, as a public, have an opportunity to go and lobby to that representative to change his mind. You didn't give us that opportunity, man.
That's exactly right, because he knows if he would have brought all this to the floor, the War Room Posse would have been on top of that in a New York minute. We would have been calling our representatives and doing what we are here to do, to tell you our tools on what to do.
Yeah.
And you don't do it, no matter what. So I think every one of you need to be like...
Well, and it would have been the War Room Posse involved in that, and it would have been more than half of the country, because the vibe and the reality of it is the border is an extreme and very important part of what we need to get accomplished. We said that yesterday, Mike Johnson. You need to close the border.
Secure our border.
Or you need to go.
That's exactly
One
right.
of the two.
Yes.
One of the two.
The White House released a statement on forward and supplemental aid. Biden will sign the bill, as he has said. The administration, he says, strongly supports House passage of the National Security Supplemental Package. This supplemental provides over $95 billion in funding for critical bipartisan national security priorities. Then it goes on to just tout how much the Ukraine needs the money and we cannot let Russia succeed. This supplemental funding will also help Israel protect its people against threats it faces from Hamas and Iran and its other proxies. In addition, the supplemental funding package provides support to critical Indo-Pacific partners, bolstering our integrated deterrence and maintaining peace and stability in the region. And then it goes on to end. The world is watching what the Congress is doing. Passing this legislation would send a powerful message across the strength of Americans' leadership as a pivotal moment. The administration urges both chambers of the Congress to quickly send this supplemental package to the president's desk.
I wouldn't send it until there's border security in it for us. I'm telling you.
It talks about everybody else's border except for ours.
Yep.
And let's get Russia. We got to stop Russia, even though Russia doesn't give a crap what America is doing.
And he even said that to
Yes.
Tucker. He told Tucker, we're not concerned with you.
Ukraine must prevail. You know, I'm like, should they? They should have already prevailed if that was the case.
Man. So basically, Mike
they're
Johnson
gonna
has
go in there Saturday. This is all performative.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. And they're going to pass everything.
And at the end of the day, the only thing that we're going to be able to look and see is that they've given us a big middle finger.
They have given us the middle finger.
Yeah. I laugh to keep from being mad.
We have to do that. And we're going to continue to laugh and play this video.
It's appalling, though. Middle fingers are just appalling.
They are appalling.
They're
People
appalling.
hate that.
They're appalling. Joe Biden was appalled by a middle finger, too. In Scranton on Tuesday, he had to talk about it a little bit. It's hilarious. Check this out.
I've never thought I'd see a time when I'm going through a neighborhood or a rural town in the West or something and see big signs that have a Trump sign in the middle that says F. Biden, and having a little kid standing with his middle finger, 7 years old, 8 years old. Well, I promise it happens all the time.
I promise you, it happens all the
Little
time.
kid gives him the middle finger. That's hilarious. That's just funny to me.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah, it's funny to me that he's appalled by some little kid giving him the middle finger, but yet showering with your daughter is not appalling? Come on, man.
Come on, man. Sniffing kids.
Man. Sniffing kids.
That's not appalling.
Yeah.
You know, this is how crazy things are with these people. You know, at Fox News, they got Biden on here. That's who this video came from, actually, originally. It says Biden down there at the bottom, the little ticker. Little kid gave me the middle finger.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I can't even believe anything he says.
I can believe this, man.
But I could believe this. That's where I was going to go with that. I believe nothing that he says. After watching the video about him talking about his uncle being eaten by a cannibalist, I mean, I just don't know what to believe anymore. You know, it could have been a Biden supporter that did it, not a Trump supporter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, who knows, man?
So, who knows what he really believes? And did you hear his voice? He just sounded like he could barely talk.
Yeah.
Speaking of talking, this morning we wake up and find out that Elon Musk is going to allow Grok to ban people for engagement farming? Is that am I understanding this right?
Yeah, well, Elon come out with this statement about this because he feels that though engagement farming is a bad thing, which to me, social media, that's all social media is
Engagement farming.
looking for an engagement. Yeah, looking
Especially
for
when
people
you
to
post
engage with you,
memes.
to discuss. That's what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
out here to
Have a discussion.
Yeah, to engage people. But anyway, so he goes on to talk about this. He says any accounts doing engagement farming will be suspended and traced to source. And so once he made that announcement, everybody got up in arms about it, man. Everybody did, and rightly so, because to me, the word engagement farming just sounds like an open-ended excuse to ban somebody for no reason, correct?
Yes. It really does. Some way to just, ban people. And I thought that's what we weren't going to do anymore.
Yeah,
right?
I thought he was the bastion of free speech. Elon was going to save the world with his free speech perspective and his outlook. Axiomatic enemy of the state on Twitter. This is his post, and this is what he says. He said, "Here is Grok's definition of engagement farming." To put this in perspective, Elon's talking about the engagement farming, and the way that they're going to accomplish this engagement farming is through the use of AI. Well, which AI are they going to use? They're going to use Grok, okay? axiomatic enemy of the state, he posted this on Twitter or on X just 2 hours ago. And he goes, here is Grok's definition of engagement farming. Elon's plan to suspend every single account on Twitter is a bold business strategy, because in a lot of ways, this is exactly what it sounds like. Because if you think about it, this is exactly what you're supposed to do on social media. So this makes absolutely no sense. You ask Grok, give me a definition of engagement farming. And this is what Grok says. Engagement farming is a practice on social media platforms, including X, formerly Twitter, where users aim to increase their engagement metrics, such as likes, replies, and followers, by strategically interacting with other users. Okay.
That's everybody on there.
And now, whoa, hey, here we go. This often involves liking and replying to specific posts, tagging other users, and creating content designed to encourage interaction. The goal is to boost one's visibility and potentially grow their audience through increased engagement. However, it can also be seen as a form of gaming the system, as the interactions may not always be genuine or organic.
Wow, that came in there all of a sudden.
Well, okay, you read this and you go, well, hell, everything that you say on here is exactly the whole purpose of social media. You get on social media to increase your engagement metrics, such as likes, replies, and followers, because you get on there to interact with other people. And the way that you do, this is the system these guys set up for us.
It's crazy because you and I, you and I as a team, as partners in our show, we tag each other regularly on X
for content, discussion, that kind of
and
thing.
for discussion.
True. Yeah.
You know, and that would be the same thing as a bookmark, wouldn't it?
You would think. Yeah.
You know, because, I mean, you're bookmarking.
And see, I read, and I didn't delve into it a little bit, but I read a little bit about people the other day talking about that they were going to begin to monitor your bookmarks.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I brought that up, is because he started out with the bookmark thing a few days ago, and now it's engagement farming. So I think he puts these things out there to see what people say about them. I just don't believe that he's going to do this, because the people are, we see, then he's going to go after the big content people, because they're the ones that are engagement farming, if you really want to know.
Well, that's kind of what I'm kind of beginning to think too, because somebody else brought this point up to me when we began to talk about it, because I immediately went to the free speech angle. And that was something that he brought out too. He said, well, you've got people on here, and it's obvious that it goes on, is these people have posts already preset and plan to go out, and they're doing it on the hour, every hour, 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we see this.
Yes, we do.
And I'm not going to name two specific people, but 99% of the time, and I'll just go there, that may be too big, too small, I think it's about right on, but about 99% of the time when you see a really important or relevant post that somebody brings about a topic, I can just about guarantee you there's one female and one male person user on here, and they're going to be, one of the first two are going to be the first comments on every single post. You've seen it. I've seen it.
Yes.
So
we see it all the time.
In my opinion, then, and I've told you this, I think those people work together to have these replies so that, boom, that user gets his out here, and these two people get their comments out here, and that drives what? A narrative.
Yes. It drives engagement too. And that's what we should do. But, I'm going to mention some names. Engagement farming, Krasenstein Brothers.
You bet. You bet.
So you're going to shut them down, your favorites? Because they are very much out there.
Rob Reiner.
Everywhere. Yes. Stephen King.
Yeah.
You're going to get rid of all them, but you need to, but use free speech, right? This whole thing, it's crazy.
Yeah. And in my opinion, Elon, if you want X to look and feel a lot like Facebook, go for it, man, because that's what you're going to get. You start doing this and you start putting your boot down on everybody and acting like a brown shirt, this is what you're going to get, dude.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, we're going to keep an eye on that. We did have some news. that came out of Dallas, Texas here. And I really have to say I'm proud of Texas for stepping up. Y'all remember the Kraken lawyer, Sidney Powell? She was completely vindicated after Democrat judges dismissed disciplinary effort by State Bar of Texas.
They released the Kraken.
They released the Kraken. Good for her.
Yep.
I just wanted to say, you know, we've all been praying for you this whole time, and anybody that's going through what you're going through from just because you're stood up during 2020, you know, we're all behind you 100%.
You bet.
But, you know, if you don't know who she was or is, I'm sorry, but she's a Dallas attorney, and she's known for her vigorous legal efforts to challenge the fraudulent 2020 election on behalf of President Donald Trump. She has been fully vindicated by an appellate court decision. The 5th District of Texas Court of Appeals in Dallas, led by a 3-panel judge, all Democrats, concluded that the State Bar of Texas's arguments were without merit. Here's what their statement was.
The Dallas Court of Appeals has affirmed the Texas State Court's dismissal of the Texas Bar's case against Sidney Powell. After 3 years of litigation, the Court of Appeals held the bar had no evidence Powell violated any disciplinary ruling on filing 4 federal lawsuits in the aftermath of the 2020 election. Sidney Powell's defending the Republic said in a statement. The State Bar of Texas Commission for Lawyer Discipline had filed a complaint against Powell, accusing her of violating several Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct. And as we read earlier, these allegations stem from lawsuits that Powell had filed in late November of 2020. She became the center of the media attention in November 20 for filing these multiple lawsuits challenging the certification of election results in critical battleground states, famously vowing to release the Kraken in her crusade to expose election fraud. The State Bar later contended that Powell's lawsuits were frivolous based on unfounded claims of widespread election fraud. Moreover, they alleged that Powell knowingly attached altered evidence to her legal filings. However, Powell refuted these allegations, arguing that the documents were provided by other counsel involved in the case and that any discrepancies were not a result of her direct actions. She argued that any discrepancies were inadvertent, attributing to errors to oversight under pressure. Her defense argued that these were honest mistakes made in the rush of a massive legal filing. The appellate court meticulously reviewed the claims, evidence, and procedural history of the case. In particular, it scrutinized the Commission for Lawyer Discipline's handling and presentation of evidence in its summary judgment response. You know, reading through all of this and seeing how this went down, this does give you at least a little bit of hope. I hadn't talked about it a lot, but if you remember back months ago, I made the statement a few times, and we kind of had a good debate about it, that there are reasonable, rational people out there in these systems that just happen to vote Democrat. Hopefully their eyes will open. Maybe this is hopefully it, man. Maybe a lot of these judges are beginning to go, damn, man, we can't keep doing this.
Yes.
Because even if you don't engage in the outright kind of behavior as you see Judge Mershon doing, or you see Engeron doing, you know,
Or Jack Smith.
or any of those highly liberal D.C. judges, or even in Texas with the 3 judges that we had during the primaries. Maybe these other Democrat-appointed judges are beginning to see, hey, man, even if I'm not involved in that, if I refuse to take the correct stance, the public is starting to view me in that same light as them, and that's hurting my chances to continue to serve on this bench. Hopefully that's something that's going on.
I hope so, too.
Yeah.
I hope so. And there are reasonable people out there, and people that do leave their biases away from, you know, their job.
Right.
And that's what we need.
We need
judges. I don't care. No one cares if you're a Democrat or a Republican, Libertarian, or whatever, and that should never be brought out.
It becomes what at that point? Activism and not judicial.
Exactly.
And that's
we need to get back to our judges being our judges.
Yes. Being impartial and fair, and leave your political activism outside the doors.
And follow the law.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Let's keep moving then.
We're going to keep on moving. But good for her. I'm proud for the Kraken. She can keep on cracking.
Release the Kraken.
That's it. But we watched a video, what was it, a couple nights ago? It was Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, interviewing Jesse Kelly.
Yes, that's who it was, interviewing Jesse Kelly. It's pretty good. We watched the whole thing. Normally we'll, move on after we see the big, the big stuff, but we watched the whole thing. It's funny because on Wednesday evening, Carlson posted an episode of his show, Tucker Carlson Uncensored, in which he discussed the situation at the U.S.-Mexico border with Jesse Kelly, a conservative talk radio host on X, formerly Twitter.
Let me correct this article real quick.
Yes, I was gonna say.
Jesse Kelly is not a conservative talk show host. Jesse Kelly is an anti-communist, and he'll tell you that fast.
Yes, yeah, and he's not just a radio host. Jesse Kelly has his own show on, what's that, Bill O'Reilly's?
Is it called
network?
First? Yeah, on Bill O'Reilly's network called, I think it's called First.
It's First.
First
So
News.
he does have his show on there, and it's pretty powerful if you're interested in watching it. You can get it for free on any channels. It's on First, on any cable channels.
Yeah, during that episode that we were watching, during an interview with them, they were talking about the border. They were talking about the problems at the border, and they began to ask about how is this continuing to happen. And Tucker asked him a question. He goes, why do the reddest states produce the dumbest, most liberal Republicans? Why aren't Republican Texas senators like John Cornyn and Dan Crenshaw bagging groceries at Walmart? And Jesse Kelly has his thought about this. Carlson wrote alongside the video. And Jesse gave him an answer. Jesse goes, well, it's complacency. And yeah, life being good makes you soft. The reddest states in the country give us the most putrid Republicans at the federal level. Man, I couldn't disagree. I couldn't disagree. Yeah, I'm telling you.
I know. He continued, though. He goes, why does that happen? Because the GOP primary voter in red states lives at a relatively normal place. He lives in comfort. He thinks he's got a red legislature, so he either doesn't vote in primaries, that's mostly the case, or even worse, he goes to vote for Senator Dork, who he sees on Fox News every time. And that is exactly right.
Yeah.
Those that go on Fox News every time, all the time, that their names get out there.
Uh-huh.
And people are very conditioned to listen to names. And they just listen to this soundbite, which we've talked about much here on the show, about sound bites.
Yep.
And they go on there and they give these wonderful analysis sound bites, and all of a sudden you're going to vote for them.
Yep. Like he said, they come into the polling place to vote. They're completely uninformed, and they walk in, and you're right. The first thing they think of when they see these names on a ballot, they have no clue who they are, what they stand for, nothing. But, I seen him on Fox News. He must be good. Click, and there you go. And that's what goes on.
That's how we got Pete Sessions back.
Exactly.
Honestly, he should not have been reelected.
Right.
But people aren't paying attention. All they know is he's our representative,
And
and that's who we're going to continue to vote for.
And they see his name in a headline. They never read the article to find out what the headline is about. They just know he's out there. I mean, he's out there. He must be doing something good. He's on Fox News.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
Oh.
Crenshaw responded to Carlson's post on Wednesday by writing, "Why aren't you bagging groceries in Moscow?"
I think Tucker's question was fair, though, man.
It was fair, and it's a good debate
Yeah.
we need to have. Jesse Kelly is right. We need to stand up for our country. I mean, look what's come from us being, like he said, I'm guilty. I was guilty of this before President Trump.
Yeah, and I think maybe the article that Newsweek brought out, and they're bringing out this point that he's dogging Dan Crenshaw and that he's dogging John Cornyn. But honestly, the buried lead in this story, in this interview, if you watch it, was Jesse's plan for border security.
Yes,
Which was
they didn't say anything in this article about
no, ma'am,
that.
they didn't. And Jesse's plan was to form a coalition of 10 governors who enforce that law down there on those border states. And when they see a federal authority not following the law and just allowing these people to be let free and run into our country and allow them to cross over illegally or to just let them go, Jesse's plan was, if you form a coalition with these 10 governors, you begin to arrest those that are illegally crossing the border regardless, and any of those federal employees or authorities that are allowing it to continue, you arrest them too because they've broken the law. They deserve to go to jail too.
Yes. How come? And you know,
it makes
at the
perfect
beginning
sense.
of this, we wondered ourselves, who isn't? Why aren't they going to jail? Why aren't people arresting them? But you know, at the time, you know, we're like, well, okay, can the states actually arrest the federal government? Can they do that?
Why couldn't they?
I agree. Why couldn't they? Is there a law in the book saying they can't? Exactly.
Yeah.
But in response to Newsweek's email request for comment, Kelly said, I stopped reading after reporter from Newsweek. I just had to say that.
Yep.
Newsweek also reached out to Tucker Carlson Network, Crenshaw's office, and Cornyn's office via email for comment. I guess they didn't get any comment from them. So that was that. So there you go. That was that on Tucker. So that's our missed headlines for the week. Things we wanted to talk about, just bring up and have a good time. So we're going to end the show with this. Have a great weekend. Talk to you on Monday.
Is this thing working?
Rise up.
Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. You know, we couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there.
Denise.
And we'll see you next time.
We're out.